And I guess when I think of being grateful, I think about like really taking it in and appreciating the moment. And I view being grateful with being present, and being present is a thing that I really struggle with these days, because when life is moving so quick and you're future pacing and you're thinking about this business or this company.
How can you be present? Yeah.
It's very hard to bring it back to, okay, the present moment. So I don't know necessarily if I'm more present or I take things in more, but I'd say weirdly enough, I'm more at peace. And I'm definitely a hell of a lot more fulfilled these days than I used to be.
Wouldn't you say you being at a lot more peace goes everything against what you said in the beginning, or the fact that you've got so much more running now, so many more employees, so much more to deal with? How are you at more peace now than before?
Because for me, I'm more fulfilled. And fulfillment comes from doing hard things. And that's why even if it feels like things are moving at 100 miles an hour these days, at the end of the night when I lay my head on the pillow, I'm like, oh, fuck, like we're doing some cool things. So I think the peace comes from the fulfillment.
What challenges have you had to face throughout the whole time as well?
What, the last few years?
Yeah.
Listen, it's a very different life. Before I was more of like a solo, like a lone wolf. Actually, I'll give you a perfect example. Now I live with my head of security. Head of security lives in my house. My head of production lives in my house. I've always lived alone my entire life. You know, I'm also an only child.
Mm-hmm. When I came to you last time in your home in London, you were living alone, right?
I was living alone, yeah, correct. So I'm used to living alone. So now, you know, even in the last couple of years, having people that kind of need to live with you in your house, that's been a big change for me. I guess getting acclimated to, you know, I'm not like an A-list celebrity. I'm just sure as hell isn't paparazzi outside my house, and it's like my life's, you know, it's acceptable. Like it's not nothing crazy, but definitely always leaving the house and knowing that you're gonna have at least, at a minimum, any place you go, 5 people come up to you. I mean, if I go somewhere more public, it
definitely a lot more.
It gets in the, you know, it gets in the dozens and dozens.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes you're like, I guess, yeah, that is just, it's different. And, you know, even down to like having people come to the house, like that people ask, oh, like, why does your head of security live with you?
Yeah, I mean, when your team, first of all, your team's 10 out of 10, everyone I've met so far. And even when I was speaking to your head of security, we were literally talking about this on the way here and last night, just the fact that because Dubai is so open and so safe, people just randomly turning up to your house trying to expect to see where you are and expect to come in. I don't know what they expect, to be fair, but just the fact that you've got to deal with that is a challenge in itself.
Yeah,
I can imagine that gets long.
Yeah, it's definitely funny. I mean, even yesterday I was sat there and I was speaking to a founder of a company that I'm looking to invest in, and we were actually talking about some of that stuff. As we're talking, like someone's comes to my house from the backside on the beach side.
Oh, really?
And it's like,
so they must have bloody walked the whole beach.
and with food, like a food offering. And you know, funnily enough, she goes, my husband's a massive fan, blah blah, this that. You know, can I give this? And obviously, Axe went out. He's like, listen, he doesn't know you. Realistically, he's not going to eat your food.
Yeah.
Like, just, I don't want to be disrespectful, but politely, it's probably not the best idea. So just like stuff like that, I guess, has been interesting getting used to. But as I said, I'm moderately well known. I'm no A-list celebrity. There's sure as hell no paparazzi outside my house. So it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely.
But I'd say you're a different kind of celebrity in a sense of, in entrepreneurship anyway, celebrity within that field for sure, and a celebrity amongst our generation for sure, because you automatically assume paparazzi, A-list celebrity, Hollywood actor, whatever the case is. Of course they got paparazzi, but I feel like this side is a complete different celebrity, and I feel like you fit in that category and you're still on top of there, if you know what I mean. But then that comes with, you know, different types of fans and stuff like that, as you were saying there.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is interesting. So as we were speaking, I don't know how much you can go into this or how much you want to go into this, but you were saying that you're looking to acquire a business that's failing right now and get into it. Can we speak about that? Just interested to know what it is and what we could speak on.
Yeah, so I guess I don't know if I can go to too much detail. I'll try to speak in rough generalities.
I'll tell you the reason why I'm interested is because I've always known you to be someone who's providing services online.
Yeah.
And what intrigued me is you said this is physical.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'll explain why. So as time has gone on with my investments, as I said, whenever I'm investing in a company, I try to look for companies that have a competitive advantage. And with this business specifically, I have no competitive advantage, or very little competitive advantage, but the reason I'm doing it is because it's uncorrelated. And what I mean by that is this is one of those physical businesses where even if we're in a recession, my stock portfolio goes down, my real estate portfolio will go down. As I said, depends my real estate in which countries, but you get the gist. Most of the values of my assets will go down. So it's good to have uncorrelated assets, and it's good to have assets like collector's items, cars, handbags. Like, I know this sounds fucking hilarious to most people I tell, but I've been collecting handbags for many, many, many years. And it sounds funny until you realize how much fucking money I've made with it.
When we talk about like Birkins and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Birkins, Kellys,
The list goes on.
Specific vintage pieces as well. And the reason I've done that is because, once again, that's an uncorrelated asset. So with this business that I'm buying, it's not like, listen, I'll be honest, the business will do roughly, once we turn it around and with very moderate projections, the business will do roughly around $1.5 million a year. That's not obviously amazing money. I get 50% of that, by the way, but it's not like life-changing for me, especially physical businesses. There's a lot of risk associated to this. That. The reason why I do it is because it's uncorrelated in the sense that even if there's a recession, the business still makes money. The business has zero correlation whatsoever to the macroeconomic condition, right? So, for example, when you have economic downturns, cigarette companies, zero difference. Historically, even fast food companies, during economic downturns, fast food companies actually make more money because people think, oh, I'm not going to spend money on healthy food. I'm just going to go buy McDonald's or KFC or whatever it is. So those are businesses that are uncorrelated to the market. Whereas when there's an economic downturn, Ferrari makes less money.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So this is how I think about some of these different business ventures, because most of my ventures, obviously I have my bonds, I have my precious metals, I have my stocks, I have my properties. But then in terms of my businesses that I've invested in, they're all businesses that I have a competitive advantage in and are in industries that I'm very familiar with. So that's why I've now started looking at other industries that have nothing to do with what I'm involved in. So yeah, that's why physical location business.